The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare from Guy Ritchie. It's an action comedy about a Black Ops team sabotaging German operations in World War II. This movie is based on the true story of the British Special Forces team sent to attack German boats in Fernando Po in order for the US to join the war. There are two halves that make up this team sent out to fulfill Operation Postmaster, all under the nose of British authorities. The one that you're probably more interested in seeing is the band of misfits led by Gus March Phillips, played by Henry Cavill. We'll call them Team A. The other half, Team B, is the duo of Frederick Heron and Marjorie Stewart, who are spies working undercover on the island the others are heading toward. We follow Team A as they tear through German soldiers on their way to Fernando Po, navigating obstacles along the way, while Team B's plan is to distract the Nazis with festivities so that Team A can accomplish this seamlessly, but of course there are complications along the way. So this movie was not what I was expecting. I was going into it thinking that it would mostly just be action comedy shenanigans, but there was actually a good bit more to it. Team B's endeavors provided a lot of intrigue. There's a lot of tension between Marjorie and the sole villain of the film, Heinrich Löhr, played by Til Schweiger. It's Marjorie's job to seduce Löhr so that he can actually be distractible. While this might make her sound like a very generic female spy, she was actually my favorite character in the movie. She's not relying solely on sex appeal to get the job done. She actually has to use her wits quite a bit in order to sway him. This made for some really interesting and pretty cool dialogue scenes. And it also gave the action scenes a bit of breathing room. Thankfully, there weren't just guns blazing from start to finish. There's still plenty of action though, and it can be pretty silly. The boys are very playful with their demeanor and their over-the-top savagery. There's not really any character depth, at all, but this movie sort of makes up for that with some fun dynamics and an interesting blend of character archetypes. The action overall could have been a bit more absurd though. There are some silly bits in the midst of action, but they were a little bit far and few. Gus has his couple of moments of sticking his tongue out and having some fun, and then after that he felt much more like an ordinary character. Considering that it's established early on that these characters were all mad, they could have felt a bit more unhinged. Anders, played by Alan Ritchson, is kind of the only one who stayed consistent with that description. This movie continues the trend of making me unsure of how to feel about Henry Cavill as an actor. Like, he's not bad at acting, I think he's just a really hard person to cast. So this is obviously a very embellished take on the true story, but these events are famously what inspired Ian Fleming to write the 007 novels. There are some subtle parallels. It feels like Bond is in this movie, but it feels like he's split between two characters, Gus and Marjorie. Gus is extremely competent action-wise, while Marjorie is the sly and cunning one. That probably sounds like a stretch, and it probably is one if I'm being honest. So there's not much more to say about this movie. While it doesn't touch my heart, nor does it feel like a super memorable film, it still packs a punch with some fun action scenes and slick spy ventures that feel self-aware, despite occasionally being a little bit cheesy. Overall, it's a fun action flick that manages to keep you interested with a charming bunch of characters. I'll say that it was pretty good, though it probably sits near the bottom of the good movies category. This is one that you can probably wait to just stream at home. When it is streaming, this could be a good watch if you're looking for something action-packed and fun, but I would skip this one if you're looking for something with character depth. Thank you for watching this review. If it brought you any value at all, please give it a like. It really does help the channel grow. I'll see you later this week with my review of Challengers.